we're following this morning, of course, is the threat of severe weather.
Yes, Weather Aware is going to be the name of the game this morning. We've been telling you this for a couple days now, but I know the timeline is what we're closely watching right now, Lindsay.
Right, yeah, and the biggest difference, well, the fact that this is going to be a slightly less tornadic outlook compared to last Friday. I think that's the biggest question I've gotten. Is this going to be as bad as last Friday? This is going to happen when we're awake, when we're going to work and school during the morning hours and into this afternoon. So we're all going to be aware of the changing conditions around us, and hopefully that does lead to more folks being able to prepare for this and eventually receive those warnings if and when they do come out. Wanted to start with live Doppler 13 radar, where we are quiet out there this morning. What's going on around us, though, is the atmosphere is primed for once we get something to trigger these storms to develop today. So while there's no active watches or warnings right now, we are still in that elevated risk for those storms as they move in. Been watching the Storm Prediction Center reissue developing severe thunderstorm watches back to our west. A new one just issued for the St. Louis area. That's going to be that main line as far as where that cold front is situated. But out ahead of it, you notice we've got this secondary area of storms that are starting to develop, and that's what's going to move in first for us, followed by that secondary round of storms. So a couple of waves here that will impact us today. Starting at 8 o'clock this morning, everybody will be in this wind advisory. So once those strong storms do move through, we're going to keep these strong wind gusts going outside of the thunderstorms through about 8 o'clock tonight. Here's the latest outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. No changes from what we talked about yesterday. So that's still a level 3 of 5. And again, we're watching a few rounds of storms. One set to develop after about 7 o'clock this morning, and then another round looks to come in around lunchtime, with that risk of stronger storms continuing through the early afternoon. Primary threats for today, once again, still going to be those damaging wind gusts. It will be widespread as a line of storms moves in, but within that line could get those rotating storms and a few tornado warnings as well. So here we go as far as impacts, down trees, isolated power outages, all associated with those strong wind gusts. Here's the timeline on all this. Looks like that initial line will start to move in between about 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning. These will be those individual cells that could bring in a few warnings out ahead of that main line. This will start to congeal into one line of storms closer to the mid-morning between about 9, 10 o'clock. As we advance this a little farther, watch this secondary line getting ready to cross over the border there. This is where we're going to be watching for the potential of some embedded rotating storms. This is 11 o'clock in the morning. That will make its way closer to the metro around noon and eventually pull through between about noon and 1 o'clock. Still watching the eastern side of the state between about 1 and 3 p.m. for that initial line to bring that highest severe risk there. And then after 3 p.m., the most severe will exit to our east. We will wind down this wind machine about 6 o'clock later today, and eventually that rain will continue to exit. The sky will clear and temperatures will start to fall. So really anything between this morning and into the evening commute, we need to be watching out for that potential of strong to severe storms. Behind this front, we have a much more quiet day tomorrow. We're going to drop back into the low 40s. Daytime highs tomorrow going to be in the mid 50s with a partly cloudy sky. And it does look like conditions will be certainly more quiet as we head into our holiday weekend. We warm back to the 60s to start the weekend, 67 for your Easter Sunday, and a couple 70-degree days on tap to start next week.